I was told that ain't nobody watching a 2-hour YouTube video. The other video I made on this in great detail is over 2 hours long, and I encourage everybody, if you're serious about your firewood business, to watch that one. But here it is for anybody who does not want to watch that, or at least maybe wants an overview of it. And then you can go and watch the longer one if you're further interested. All right, so the first thing you do is come over here to the left side menu, or if you're on a phone, you can do it on a phone. I recommend using a computer or laptop. It's just easier, right? There's a lot of stuff for a phone. But click plus cords a year. If you're on a phone, it'll be on top. And let's say you're doing 50 cords a year. Just type in 50. Next, click raw materials, which is going to be your most expensive cost in this business. And most product businesses, I would guess. But, and if you watch the other video, you'll hear my thought on product versus service business, firewood production versus delivery service. I believe they're two different businesses. I also believe if you're sourcing your own raw material yourself, that's a third business. But you can watch the other video to learn more about my thoughts on that. All right, let's say you pay $1,000 to get a load of logs, tracks, a load of logs. And then you got to put how many cords per load do you get? Well, some people get 5.5, sometimes 6, 7, 8, somewhere in there. So if you do it, every time you do it, you figure out how many finished cords you get per load. So as an example, let's say you order a load of firewood poles and you get 5 cords. You order another load, you get 6 cords. Take 5 plus 6. If you order it again and you get 6.5 cords, add 6.5. All right. You do it 2 more times and you get 7 one time and you get 7.25 cords, 7.25. Okay. So that's 5 loads. You got a total of 31.75 cords out of 5 loads. Divide it by 5. Equals, right? It's an average. So we'll use it, 6.35. And that automatically updates your cost to produce 1 cord of firewood. And just in that raw materials, you're at $157.48. So next, we're going to add the equipment that is required to produce firewood. We're going to say we need a splitter, right? Yeah, you can use an axe, but 50 cords, I'm not using an axe. You want to use an axe and that's all you do? Well, my hat's off to you. You go ahead and put axe in here and $60 and whatever. All right, but let's say we have we bought a splitter for $2,500. We do about $150 in maintenance a year, but it's going to last us only 1 year. It's, nothing special. We're gonna let's go 2 years. We'll go 2 years on this. And the salvage value at the end is maybe $400. So $2,500, we buy a splitter, we maintain it $150, but it's a homeowner's machine. Maybe you bought it used and it breaks down after 2 years. Whatever the deal is, doesn't matter for the example. Okay, that gives us a cost of $24 per cord, which is pretty high, but the longer you get out of the machine, you see how it will affect the number. If you get 4 years out of it, now you're at only $13.50 a cord. If you really take care of your stuff and you doing nothing but 50 cords per year, maybe you can get more. Maybe you can get 7 years out of it, right? Everything's different. Everybody's different, but you can just see how it affects the numbers. We'll leave that in there. It's fine. $9 a cord. All right, we need a chainsaw, so we're going to click this add equipment button and get a chainsaw. We're going to buy a $500 chainsaw. That's all the money we got. $100 in maintenance. Maybe 50 cords is going to beat it to death, and it's worth $100 at the end. You sell it to the neighbor, and he rebuilds it and does whatever with it. Okay, you see, it gives you a cost per cord, which honestly is pretty high. So, you just do whatever you want with the numbers. the longer you get out of a machine, the better. So next we're going to add, that's all we really need. You can add, if you want to get a splitting axe. Splitting axe, $60, right? Annual maintenance, we'll say 0. We'll say it breaks after a year. And 0 salvage value. Okay, it's $1.20 a cord. And the only reason I'm looking at this and it just looks wrong is $9 a cord, but we're getting a long life out of that splitter. So that's why the saw, I was looking at it for a second. I'm like, saw is more than the splitter. What's going on here? But we just gave it a long life, the splitter. And maybe the chainsaw, you do whatever you want, whatever you think you can manage. Now you're down to $4 a cord. All this stuff is pretty insignificant, as you can already tell. It's important, but it's an insignificant cost compared to the raw materials, right? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So you got like $15 here. These are not even 10% total of your cost so far. So your raw material cost is still 90%. So while they do matter greatly, the biggest cost is going to be raw material. The second biggest cost is going to be labor. So we're going to add labor. I recommend that you figure out how long it takes you in hours to produce 1 cord of firewood, from firewood poles to ready to go product. If it's 2 hours on average, again, you take the average. One day it takes you 2 hours, add, next time it takes you 3, add, next time it takes you 3.25, add, next time it takes you 2 hours, and next time you really fast this day, an hour and a half. Okay, add them all together, divide by 2 or 5. Sorry, it was 5 entry points, and you get 2.35. So it costs you, it takes you on average 2.35 hours to produce 1 cord of firewood. Okay, now what do you do with that? How do you get a number to put in cost per cord? You multiply it by hourly rate. Now, what do you pay yourself to split firewood? Do you pay yourself $10 an hour, $20 an hour, 25, 30, 60, 70? Well, I recommend you pay yourself what you could hire somebody to do it for. What would somebody expect? What's reasonable? Right? You're not going to pay somebody $100 an hour to produce a cord of wood, cord of firewood. So let's be reasonable. And this is you. You don't pay yourself as a business owner. You don't pay yourself to do employee work as a business with a business owner's salary, right? If you're the brains behind the operation and you're worth $100 an hour to yourself, your brain, your business abilities, your management of the business, you pay yourself $100 an hour. You don't pay yourself $100 an hour to do $20 an hour work. You can, but on paper, you need to pay yourself the $20 an hour. So let's just say, for this example, $20 an hour. You multiply it by that 2.35, I believe it was, average time in hours to produce a load of firewood, and we get $47 per cord labor cost. So you see that that's our next biggest cost. So now you're at $218.68 cost per cord. Just in this, there's probably a lot of people doing it like that. Like buying the wood, they got a splitter, maybe it's extra wood. They keep the first load and the rest of it's for sale. There's a lot of people out there with just a splitter, a chainsaw, a splitting axe. But we got $218.68. We're going to plug that in down here. Production cost per cord. Number of cords per year, where you set it at 50. And anytime you change any of these entries, you have to make sure you update this. This does not automatically update. All right, so currently the cost to produce 50 cords, we have nothing in the retail price, so it costs us $10,934 to produce those cords. And so we have to sell it for what? At least $218.68. So if I sell 50 cords per year at $218.68 per cord, my gross revenue will be $10,934. And based on my production cost per cord, $218.68, I will make a profit of $0. So this right here is what you call a break-even business. Everybody should know what break-even means. If you don't, it is you don't lose money and you don't make money. Exactly zero. Okay. Now, if you take this number, $218.68 retail price per cord, and you change it to $218.69 per cord, well, guess what? You made 50 cents profit. This is a profitable business. Period. On the other side of the equation, $218.67, a penny less than your production cost, or your cost to produce one cord. You're now an unprofitable business. All right. Now, keep in mind, you did pay labor. So if you're doing the labor, well, you paid yourself $47 a cord. You know, this doesn't include taxes for the example, but maybe you don't pay taxes. I think you should, but 47 times 50 cords. Your labor was paid to you $2,350 over 50 cords in a year. So obviously, we want our business to be profitable. Otherwise, it's not really worth doing. So we're going to figure out where do we need to be to be happy, to have a business that we want to have. So you can take 218.67 and you say, maybe I'll add 10%. So 10% profit. 218.67 plus 10% is $21.87 basically per cord markup. Hit the equals button to get the total price per cord. Now you have basically 240.54. So 240.54 is a 10% profit on each cord. And so now you can see that you have a profitable business with a profit at the end of the year of $1,093. Is that good? Bad? Well, that's up to you. 10% is still low in my opinion. So we're gonna mess around a little bit and we're gonna say let's do 20%. Retail's it's the retail product. Profit margins can be all over the place. 10%, I don't think you want to be under 10%. But let's do 218.68 and say we want to make 20% profit. We're going to add 20%. It's $43.74 basically per cord. And that gives us a total retail price of $262.42. All right, same business, except 20% profit. You get this is your profit at the end of the year. What do you do with that profit? I know most people use it to buy groceries, but this is business math, right? This is how business works. So, do you take that and reinvest it in your business? Because you're still getting paid the same. You're getting your labor off of each cord, whatever it was, $2,500 or whatever. $2,350. But now your business has this profit. You're a business owner. You can take this profit. You can take an owner's draw. Maybe you take 1,000 of it. Maybe this is a part-time thing and you're fine with $2,350 for your labor over the year. And you say, you know what, I'm going to take this $2,187. I'm going to go buy a better splitter, one that has a faster cycle time, and maybe you can make 60 cords next year in the same amount of time. All right, so that's how this calculator works. A couple other things to look at is you obviously have to add your fuel in. You just got to figure out how much you use per cord. Maybe it is a half a gallon. Maybe it's a half a gallon of fuel on average that you use. I'm making this up, 0.5. How much is fuel where you live? Is it $2.50 or is it $5? Well, let's say it's $3.25. I have no idea what it is where you live. So that's $1.62. You got to put it in here, $1.63, round up. Now you have that cost per cord, and it's not huge, right? But this is how you come up with your cost to do business, and this is how you figure out if you're profitable or not, and this is how you figure out how much you potentially can make. Everything's on paper, right? Does everything work out perfectly? No, but this is how you price your product or your service, and definitely talk about that. I'll talk about that in another video, but just wanted to get this short video out. I have a premium calculator here I'll do a video on, bundle calculator, how to calculate raw materials, and those will be in other videos. All right, there you go.